The Interphase Video Productions Basketball Game of the Week is brought to you by Tiberio's Ristorante, The World Gym, Heston's Auto Service and Used Cars, The Community Bank, Advest, Brian Fox for State Representative, the Notestone CPA Firm, and Tiki Lanes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cow Palace, as I like to call it, but everyone else calls it the Ohio State Fair Exposition Center. Andy Rice, Tom Starr, and the IVP crew as we bring you tonight's tournament game between the Lancaster Golden Gales and the Columbus West Cowboys. And Tom, if you wanted to match up a first-round game, usually first-round games are either blowouts or they're real close. This is going to be one of those real close ones. You've got the City League champ Columbus West Cowboys coming in at 16-4, and the Lancaster Golden Gales, who some think might be the dark horse in this tournament.
Well, a lot of coaches that they interviewed before the tournament started, if you saw the Dispatch article earlier this week, said yes, indeed, Lancaster is a team that could do very well in this district. Columbus West is not the ideal lineup to start against. I mean, if you had to pick an opponent, you wouldn't necessarily pick them because obviously beating Brookhaven for the City League Championship, they are good, and they've got some players, particularly number 32, 6'5" freshman John Chappell, who is going to be a star. In fact, he already is one. He's awfully good now, but he's going to get even better. Lancaster, though, confident. They've had a great year, and they feel like they could make a run in the tournament.
Well, if you have to have a final ball game for your regular season, that Newark game was just a great way for the Gales to get prepared. Coming from way down at Newark and then winning in overtime is their last regular season game. The Gales will start Brad Beatty, Josh Laver, and Matt Alvis out there with the McKnight brothers, Chad and Phil. Columbus West starts Nigel Mills, John Chappell that Tom talked about, Jason Waters, TJ Smith, and Jovan Johnson. That'll be the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. The Gales in their dark navy blue uniforms and the West Cowboys in their whites. And we are just about ready to tip off an early ball game. This is a 5 o'clock start, which is, a lot of teams not used to playing until later on in the evening, but this is an opportunity for the Golden Gales to get this tournament started off on the right foot, and they do as they win the opening tip, controlled by Josh Laver. Chad McKnight had the open shot, doesn't take it. They switch it over to Beatty. Beatty at the foul line has to go down to Phil. From the baseline, it's good. First two of the ball game belong to Phil McKnight, and the Gales lead this one 2-0.
Brad Beatty was setting screens down in the low post that time, then popped out near the foul line to get the pass, and as usual, directs the offense the right way.
Here's a dump off, no, and it's tipped away. Matt Alvis picks it up for the Golden Gales as we saw a drive down the lane, but the Gales have the ball on offense now after the turnover. Phil McKnight spins from the baseline again, in and out, no good. And the rebound pulled down by Jason Waters. Johnson with the basketball on the right wing. Feeds it down inside. Here's the turnaround by Waters, and it's good. So we're all tied up at 2, and now we see West coming in with full court pressure, but now they back off as it's just a man-to-man. Chad McKnight with the basketball to Phil. Phil looks down inside, tried to force a pass, and luckily it tipped over to his brother Chad, and now the Gales try to reset their offense.
West would like to make Lancaster shoot the perimeter jump shot.
There we see a shot by Chad McKnight, no good. Phil coming in for the rebound, but we got a foul called, and I think it's going to go against Columbus West, and it is. That goes against Waters, his first, team's first. So with 6:19 left to play here in the first quarter, the Gales with the basketball, we're tied at 2. They let Laver take it, and he hits it for 3. Josh Laver from the outside.
Pretty good three-point shooter from 27% on the year, but he's hit some big ones in key positions for Lancaster.
You have to watch T.J. Smith there, number 4, runs the point for West. He got a habit of picking the ball up and then putting it back down to dribble, and real close to carrying it. He spins away. Waters thought better of the three-pointer. Nice box out by Phil McKnight, and he's able to come up with a rebound, his second. The Gales bench yelling that they want a certain play called, so they run up a switch. They run it down inside to Phil McKnight. He cuts inside, no good, and then Chad McKnight tried to dunk it back in. We're going to have an offensive goaltending called against Chad McKnight. So
basket interference, as he had possession of the ball, holding it up above the rim within the cylinder, and that's a violation.
Well, you saw Jack there try to argue his case, but obviously to no avail. So the Gales leading at 5-2. Give West the basketball. Here's Smith driving, and then he dumps it down to Jovan Johnson. And they say it's off of the Gales. And again, Jack going a little ballistic there on the sideline. He thought that should have been the Gales basketball.
Well, Chad McKnight didn't argue very much, but of course Lancaster's players don't normally show a lot of emotion out there in calls like that.
Got into trouble, so he dishes back out to Waters, and they'll set it back up. Johnson lost his dribble, picks it up. Waters steps up, no good on the shot. It's rebounded by Johnson off of the West Cowboys, out of bounds, as Bob, our cameraman on the floor, follows Jovan Johnson around, and we pick up Brad Beatty. The Gales have the basketball, leading 5-2 early on here in this ball game. Phil McKnight drives baseline, dishes back to Chad, who puts it up, and it's good.
Phil McKnight's pretty active here in the early part of this game. He's got a lot of responsibilities at the offensive end, particularly trying to get Lancaster into their offense.
Here's a stop and a pop high off the glass, no good. Waters on the rebound for the Cowboys. His shot no good, and Beatty on the rebound for the Gales. The Gales looking to extend their lead out to 7 points. They lead at 7-2.
Last time these teams played in the tournament, West a heavy favorite. In fact, they had come into the game with only one loss, I think, that year, as the ball's tipped away at midcourt, and the Gales will retain it as Laver chases it down, and Lancaster nearly beat them. They were loaded that night. That year, West was excellent. This year, not the dominating team, although still awfully good.
Here's Chad McKnight. Puts it to the floor, takes it to the baseline, puts it up. It's good. He is fouled, and that goes against Water, his second.
Andy, I am surprised that the dribble penetration is there for Lancaster, that both Phil McKnight and Chad McKnight have been able to dribble the basketball in the low post, and normally big guys can't get away with that, particularly against teams that are pretty quick. But West is not defending the dribble penetration very well, and now we have a timeout call, I think, by the Cowboys.
It's just a 20-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors for joining us for this tournament season, and especially David Notestone and the Notestone CPA firm that bring you this first part of the first half. As there you see the Golden Gales get themselves psyched up. They lead it already 9-2. Chad McKnight will go to the line, try to add his 5th point already in this ball game.
West is trying to compress the paint. They're trying to make it tough for Lancaster to operate inside and force them to shoot the perimeter jump shot, but they're really not playing very good defense in the low post because they're letting Lancaster dribble to the basket. And boy, if you let the McKnights and Beatty and those guys slash to the basket, you're going to be in for a long night.
McKnight puts it in, and he's got 5. A long McKnight. And
That's right.
And we're not in McDonald's land either. T.J. Smith out on the point for the Cowboys. As the Cowboys try to spread the floor, the Gales defense is able to collapse. Here's a way out three-pointer by Jovan Johnson. And it's 10-5 in favor of the Gales.
I don't think the Cowboys are going to lack for range. We'll see some long three-point attempts before this game's over. Now they're playing zone. And they've got number 10, John Johnson, in the game as well.
Here's Matt Alvis off the pick, but he is called for traveling. That's the second turnover for the Golden Gales. So with 3 minutes, 17 seconds left to play here in the first quarter, the Gales leading it by 5, 10-5. The Cowboys have John Johnson on the floor, number 10, and there's a backside rebound by Smith, and then it was knocked away by Phil McKnight, and the Cowboys retain possession. They try to bounce it and force it inside. They can't do so, and Matt Alvis is able to come up with it. Off the glass, it's good. 7 points for Chad McKnight.
Lancaster's made 5 of 8 from the field here in the first quarter, 63% shooting. And they say most teams don't shoot well here at the Coliseum.
John Johnson, a little athletic move to get that one dished over to Smith, and Smith gets his first bucket. And it's 12-7. And one thing, Tom, we haven't mentioned Chappelle's name yet.
Nope.
Beatty feeds it down into McKnight, down to Phil, and then he's rejected by Chappelle. And they're going to say it's off the Cowboys, I think. We're going to wait. Nope, they reverse it now, and it'll go to the Cowboys.
It's a nice pass to Chad McKnight, from Chad to Phil McKnight, and then good recovery by Chappelle, who came over to knock the shot away.
Jovan Johnson tries to lean in, does so, but then is unable to get a good shot off, and Chad McKnight almost threw it away. The Gales push the ball up the floor. Josh Laver with the basketball. Dishes into Chad, who loses the basketball, and it's picked up on the outside by Mills. And then a travel. So both teams turning it right back over to each other.
The last time down, the Gales tried to go back with that dribble in the lane again, and that time West's defense ready for it, and they were able to knock the ball away. But the Gales get the turnover back on the traveling violation at the other end.
Brad Beatty to inbound the basketball for the Gales. Josh Laver guarded really close by Johnson. Beatty goes baseline. Nice move off the glass, and it's good. First bucket for Brad Beatty. And the Gales have doubled it up, 14-7. Shaner and Riggins getting ready to check in for the Gales. Smith lost the basketball and just threw it away. That's the 5th turnover for the Cowboys. Seems to me, Tom, the Cowboys, they drive into the paint, and then when they get stuck, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, they seemingly go in there with no plan, and then you get shut down by a team that plays good fundamental defense, and all you can do sometimes is just throw the ball somewhere. That one went out of bounds.
Phil McKnight brings the ball up the floor for the Gales. He'll go all the way, no good. Rebound by Riggins, and he is fouled.
You like to see that off your bench. Justin Riggins just coming into the game along with Jimmy Shaner, as you said. Right away gets involved, getting a big, strong rebound, and then he's going to get to go to the free throw line. He's a 61% free throw shooter. Or check it, he's 57% from the free throw line. He misses that one.
And Kyle Greathouse checks in the ball game for the Gales as Laver will sit down.
Very reminiscent of Brad Beatty against this same Columbus West team a couple of years ago, made his debut as a freshman on this floor. Kyle did get some playing time against Newark, but all intents and purposes, biggest game he's played in for as a varsity player.
How about Justin Riggins? He just kept pushing him back and let the ball hit the floor before he picked it up. Beatty on the drive, off the glass, it's no good, and the rebound pulled down. Johnson to Johnson, and they may hold it now for the last shot. 14-7. TJ Smith dribbles it out, guarded by Kyle Greathouse. Down to 17 seconds. Cowboys down to 9 seconds. They haven't even started their play yet. Now Smith will drive. Spins away to Johnson. 4 seconds. He'll take the off-balance three-pointer. It's no good, and that is the end of the first quarter of play. After one, the score, the Gales 14, the Columbus West Cowboys 7.
Hi, I'm Fairfield County Commissioner Judy Shoup here at the Ed Sands Memorial Land Lab. Believe it or not, your purchasing decisions can and do affect the environment. You can begin to reduce unnecessary waste by making intelligent decisions at home, at work, or even at the store. Buy recycled packaging and look for the recycling symbol. Try to stay away from disposable items and choose from durable, reusable products instead. Do the right thing for the environment and help keep Fairfield County a great place to live. The Fairfield County Commissioners and Community Action, partners in recycling.
Back here at the Ohio State Fair Exposition Center, Andy Rice and Tom Starr with the IVP Sports crew as the Chad McKnight and Columbus West Cowboys are tied at 7, but the Gales lead at 14-7. Chad with a big first quarter. 7 points, and Johnson in trouble, has to dish it back out to Smith. Here's the shot up, and it's good. Smith over the top with his shot. He has 4 points, and now Alvis takes the long pass down court, and the Gales now will pull it back and set it up. Anything unusual about that first quarter, Tom, that kind of stuck out?
Well, West didn't shoot the ball very well, 3 of 11 from the floor. Lancaster was hot for a while, then they cooled off at the end of the quarter, made 5 out of 12 shooting.
Here's Brad Beatty going for the drive, and Coach Bob Guthrie throwing up his hands. He wanted to travel, as you see the Golden Gales fans. We're going to get a block foul on Matt Alvis.
Before the shot.
Here you see Matt. Good look at him. His sports season isn't done. As soon as the Gales get through with basketball here, he runs out to the diamond where he's a pretty good pitcher. Smith to John Johnson. They dish it down inside right to Chappelle, is blocked down inside, and the Gales. Phil McKnight in trouble, gives it to Beatty. Beatty lobs it to Alvis. Alvis with the head fake, now the shot. It is no good. Chad McKnight can't get it. Alvis got the ball back, and then he is hammered by Chappelle.
Sometimes people use that expression, hammered, as just kind of a general term in describing a guy getting fouled hard. Matt got hammered by Chappelle. That was a real one.
You saw Jimmy Shaner get up off the bench. He'll be coming into the ball game, but right now Matt Alvis at the line to shoot 2. Matt yet to score in the ball game. First shot is up, and it's good. Shaner is going to check in for Phil McKnight, so Phil gets a rest.
Lancaster, a good free throw shooting team, 71% on the season. They're 2 out of 3 tonight. And they shoot about 150 more free throws during the course of the year than their opponents do.
Matt Alvis can't hit the back end, so the Gales lead now stands 17-9. That's Tehran Wembley on number 20 for the Cowboys as John Johnson with the drive, and he is fouled as he goes up for the shot.
Got bumped by Laver, and John was lucky that time because he took off on a floater and was out in Nowhereville, and fortunately for him, the foul came because he would have just lost the ball in a turnover.
Jack Greathouse constantly on the move. There on the sidelines for the Gales, as you saw, as Johnson's first shot is no good.
The perpetual motion machine. I don't know, there isn't any such thing, but if there was, it would be Jack. As Phil McKnight comes back on the floor replacing Brad Beatty. And you always know it's tournament time when the Gales are around because they have that little boutonniere flower in their lapel.
Oh, yeah.
Gales coaches do.
There's a real good look at John Johnson. Second shot, however, does go in for him, and that's his first point. And it's a 7-point Gale lead, 17-10, as the Cowboys put on the full court pressure. Here you see our, here's me. Our perch high above the Expositions Floor Center. There's a shot no good, and a rebound pulled down by Jovan Johnson. Cowboys on the run, into the lane, and we've got a foul as he goes up for the shot. Mills will be going to the line to shoot a couple. And Alvis gets called for the foul, his second.
Yes, and once again, it is hot. Rather warm up here in the Crow's Nest above the Fairgrounds Coliseum floor.
You can never understand how they got the ice to stay the way it did on the floor, because up here it is absolutely roasting.
Well, I was on the floor before the game just to check the lineups, and it's nice. I mean, it's just as mild as can be, but up here in the rafters, it is more than a little toasty. Good time to come up here, though, when you're trying to lose weight, because you'll drop about 3-4 pounds time the game's over up here.
Second shot was no good, but Chappelle able to run over and pick it up for the Cowboys, so they will have the ball again, trailing now by only 6. He's 17-11. Way outside's Jovan Johnson, no good, and the rebound picked up by Chad McKnight. That's his 5th. Jimmy Shaner as the Gales spread out their offense. Beatty to Chad McKnight right at the foul line. Laver's got the open shot off the glass. It's good.
Albeit, kids still use the glass if they know how to shoot it right. Still a great shot in this game, and you don't see too many today use it. Josh Laver did there.
19-11, just under 5 minutes to play in the first half, and almost a travel by Mills, but a way outside shot, no good, and Jimmy Shaner with the rebound, and then he is fouled on the backside. Not a very smart foul. Was picked up by Wembley, his first.
TJ Smith going to come back in the Cowboys lineup along with Leonard Gore, who's in for the first time, number 44.
The Gales right now have Beatty, Laver, the McKnight brothers, and Jimmy Shaner. Beatty to Chad McKnight. They whip it around as Jimmy Shaner runs the baseline for the Gales. Inside, jump hook, it's up, no good. Rebound pulled down by Smith. Smith on the run for the Cowboys. Pulls it back, dishes over. Johnson with the 3. It's no good, and a rebound by Shaner as again the Gales showing their superiority and getting the block out.
Lancaster out rebounding West right now at a 15-9 clip. Seems even more lopsided.
Chad McKnight tried to lob it down to Phil, and the ball tipped away, and it's picked up by Johnson. They're going to give the open shot. It's good for 3, and that goes to Mills. Oh, I'm sorry, Wembley. Wembley on the 3, and it's a 5-point spread now, 19-14 in favor of the Gales.
Jack Greathouse not happy about that defensive series there, because they really let Tyrann Wembley get set. I mean, he could have stood there and put his thumb up in the air and checked the wind and all that stuff in here before he let that thing fly. Nobody was around him.
The Gales have not been able to quite pull this one away yet. Had to lead up to 8 at one point. Shaner is hammered from behind, and that goes against Chappelle. That'll be his second.
Gales really focused offensively on getting a post up down in the low block, and whether it's been Phil McKnight or Chad McKnight, this time Jimmy Shaner, Brad Beatty was down there earlier in the game, the first couple of possessions. They're really focusing on trying to post up and get some good looks down there, and I think the West defense is pretty weak, it appears, in the low post, so Lancaster trying to exploit that, and if nothing else, getting to the free throw line.
The lefty Shaner puts up the first one good. Back into the Jason Waters. He's got 2 fouls too, so this might be a kind of a hairy substitution here. If you're Coach Guthrie, you're putting in one guy who's got 2 for a guy that has 2. Both shots are good by Shaner. It's his first 2 points of the ball game, as you see the Gales faithful. 21-14 is the score. Gales on top with 3:25 to play here in the first half. Smith, the shot no good, and a rebound by Phil McKnight. Laver lost the basketball as Smith tipped it away momentarily, but the Gales able to recover. Baseline for Beatty is hammered, and he cannot get the shot to go, so Beatty will go to the line now, and he'll be shooting 2.
That pump fake that time, Brad not only got 1 defender in the air, he got 2.
Beatty on the ball game has 4 points.
3 minutes remaining here in the first half. Lancaster leads at 21-14. The Gales have led from the outset.
That last foul was on Smith. That was his first, and Beatty's first shot is no good.
Rare miss from the free throw line for Brad.
Second shot is up. This one, however, is good, as the Gales cheerleaders clap with approval. 22-14, just under 3 minutes to play. Waters looked like he walked with the basketball, but he gets away with it. The shot is up, and it's good. 4 points for Jason Waters. You can hear Jack all the way up here wanting a travel call. Phil McKnight gets it across the timeline. Gales trying to exploit what they believe to be a mismatch, as Jovan Johnson, number 5, is guarding Phil McKnight, and Jovan is giving up about 4 inches.
And had to hold him there. He reached over from behind and trying to get a handful of jersey. Got caught, his second foul. And Tyrann Wembley coming back in to replace Jovan Johnson now. For the game, Jack Greathouse telling me down on the floor that this West team has had it going for several years running now, and something that is tough to do with not a lot of consistency in the program. Their longtime coach, Dave Sheets, retired a couple in the district tournament. They won the City League last year, and then they win it again this year. So 3 City League championships with 3 different coaches. That's tough.
Gets to be tough for the kids that are seniors especially, but obviously they are great athletes and are able to conform to each different program. 2:05 to play first half. Stopping a pop by Wembley, no good. Rebound by Beatty. Beatty lobs it over to Laver. Laver on the run, but decides better about taking it inside. Now they go down to Phil McKnight. Couple of head fakes, and he puts it up and in. 6 points now for Phil McKnight, and West wants a timeout. With a minute 45, they're going to take a 20-second timeout. So we're going to keep it right here. 26-16. The Gales have now opened it up to a 10-point lead. But, Tom, earlier, about 2 minutes ago, West had whittled it down to a 5-point lead, and the Gales have been able to, at this point, stretch it out a little bit.
I don't know that West, with what they're doing now, unless they can make an adjustment at halftime, is going to be able to defend Lancaster in the low post. We've said that several times here in the first half, and Lancaster is exploiting advantages in there with Phil McKnight or Chad McKnight, and really doing a good job. The guards are of getting the ball inside. Not much resistance from the guards of West to stop the inside penetration and passes, so they're going to have to do a better job defensively to get back in this game.
Well, West now going to a spread out, almost a weave type offense. Here's Wembley on the drive. No bucket. They're going to call an offensive foul. Wembley picks up his second foul. That's 9 team fouls for the Cowboys.
Jimmy Shaner hung in there and took that charge, and that is the 6th turnover against West. Lovell McKee, the official there, right on top of that call. Talk about one of the better officials anywhere.
Laver in the paint, now has to dish it to McKnight. Beatty had the shot, doesn't take it. Down to 1:05 left to play, first half. Chad McKnight goes baseline, and let's see, he's going to be fouled as he goes up for the shot. The Gales definitely getting the Cowboys to foul them. That goes against Leonard Gore, his first. The West crowd is on our side, and we can definitely hear their jeers towards the floor.
They may have bailed Chad out just a little bit there because he was directly under the basket and almost standing out of bounds. Really didn't have anywhere to go with his shot, but drew the contact. And now number 42, Dan Hanning, is in the game for the first time for the Cowboys as they bring Jason Waters back to the bench. They don't want him to get his 3rd foul before the end of the half. Both free throws good.
Chad
for Chad.
He's got 9 points. Those, however, were the first 2 points here in the second quarter. Here's the shot up good. How about that? Come off the bench, put one down. Hanning with his first bucket. Down to 40 seconds to play first half. 10-point spread.
Pretty good bet Lancaster gets one shot here.
Coach Greathouse had to yell to Phil to get across the timeline. "20 seconds. Now the official starts to count, so Phil has to get rid of it. Down to 10 seconds. Now the Gales start their offense. 8, 7, 6. Phil McKnight looks. Beatty. And then, nope, that is going to be the end.
Counted.
That's right. That's the end of the first half of play. The score, the Golden Gales 28, the West Cowboys 18. We'll be back with more right after we take this timeout.
Brian Fox is the best choice for state representative. Brian's platform is straightforward. Educate our kids, get tough on crime, and lower taxes.
As your state representative, I will never vote to raise your taxes.
Brian Fox is qualified to serve and is the only candidate with actual local government experience. Brian Fox is recommended by the Fairfield County Republican Party and endorsed by many civic and government leaders. Brian Fox is the best choice for state representative.
Let's take a moment to find out why Tiberio's Ristorante is Lancaster's favorite downtown stop. Tiberio's Ristorante in the heart of downtown Lancaster.
The community bank may be the new bank in town, but we aren't new to banking. Established in 1945 in Athens County, the community bank has relocated its main office and opened a full-service branch in Lancaster. For more than 20 years, Tom Buck has helped area residents and businesses with financial needs. Jason Harrell and Ida Neely also have local banking experience. They're anxious to introduce you to some of the best customer service and interest rates in town. We've earned your confidence and appreciate your trust. Come grow with us.
Satisfied customers have been relying on Heston's Auto Service and used cars since 1943. Come on by and meet Jim and Shirley Heston and find the highest quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and vans.
And don't forget the other side of Heston's, quality auto care. During these winter months, allow Heston's to keep your car on the road. That's Heston's Auto Service and Used Cars, 603 Lincoln Avenue, Lancaster.
Back at the Ohio Exposition Center, Andy Rice and Tom Starr were at halftime where the Golden Gales lead this one by the score of 28-18. Leading scorer for the Golden Gales in the first half, Chad McKnight. He had 9 points, closely followed by his brother Phil with 6, 5 apiece for Beatty and Laver, 2 for Jimmy Shaner, and a point for Matt Alvis. And for the West Cowboys, kind of spread out on their scoring too, but not really a leading scorer. Waters and Smith both with 4, Wembley with 3. Jovan Johnson has 3, 2 for Dan Hanning, and a point apiece for John Johnson and Nigel Mills. That's the scoring for the Cowboys as Tom furiously scribbles on his stats. I would think, though, when you look at your stat sheet as a whole there, Tom, that the Gales definitely are leading in all categories to this point.
Well, they are, and doing a very good job on the boards, almost out-rebounding West by a 2-1 margin, 17-9. The Gales are led by Chad McKnight, who has 5 rebounds. Nobody on the West side has more than 2 rebounds, so Lancaster dominating at both ends inside. The Gales have 5 assists in the first half, 3 of those by Brad Beatty. Lancaster 9 of 12 from the foul line, that's 75%. West has only been to the foul line 4 times. They are 2 out of 4. And from the floor, the Gales are 9 of 19, just a shade under 50%, and 1 of 1 from three-point range. Josh Laver has that. West 7 of 21, so 33% shooting, not very good, and 2 of 6, exactly 33% from the three-point arc. Turnovers pretty even the first half. The Cowboys had 6, the Gales had 4.
28-18 is our score at halftime. The Gales lead it. We'll be back with the second half of play, but first we're going to take this timeout.
Steve Messerly and Advest will help you achieve your financial goals. Steve's philosophy is simple. Care about your clients, work with them honestly and with integrity, and deliver a high level of service. As a former assistant treasurer of investments for the Ohio State University, Steve will put his investment knowledge to work for you. He can help you save money for retirement, fund your children's education, or decrease your tax liability. Let Steve Messerly be your investment manager. Call him today at 653-5757.
Each year, Americans generate over 700 million gallons of waste motor oils, and almost half of this oil is improperly disposed. Hi, I'm County Commissioner Alan Reed. The improper disposal of used oil hurts us 2 ways, by harming our drinking water supply and by wasting a valuable, non-renewable energy source. If you are a do-it-yourselfer, take your waste oil to an oil recycling station in your area. With your help, we can all keep Ohio and Fairfield County clean and safe.
Brian Fox is the best choice for state representative. Brian's platform is straightforward. Educate our kids, get tough on crime, and lower taxes.
As your state representative, I will never vote to raise your taxes.
Brian Fox is qualified to serve and is the only candidate with actual local government experience. Brian Fox is recommended by the Fairfield County Republican Party and endorsed by many civic and government leaders. Brian Fox is the best choice for state representative.
Back at the Ohio State Fairgrounds Exposition Center, Andy Rice, Tom Starr, and the IVP Sports Crew as we bring you tonight's game between the Golden Gales and the West Cowboys. First round of the Division I tournament here in Columbus, as the Gales lead this one 28-18, as you see the Gales getting themselves huddled up for the start of the second half of play. Tom, any thoughts on what the Gales talked about at halftime? Trying not to stay complacent, I would think.
Well, I think you don't have to worry about that with Lancaster. I don't think they're going to do anything differently than they did in the first half. Try to feed the ball inside, work their in and out game, and see if they can continue to take advantage of what West is giving them in the low post. And until West stops them, we're not going to see anything different, I don't think.
Chad to Phil, to Brad Beatty, no good, and then Chappelle with the rebound for the West Cowboys, as the Gales can't get the bucket to fall to start this second half of play. Here's Jovan Johnson with a drive, and then a shot rejected into the West Cowboy cheerleading squad. But a foul beforehand. That goes against Alvis, his third. He's the only Gale in foul trouble. The Gales had only 3 fouls in the first half to 10 for the Cowboys.
I think West would like to see the pace of this game pick up significantly, and they like to get into a little bit better offensive rhythm. To Lancaster's credit, defensively, they make that tough for you to do, as Alvis leaves the game and Jimmy Shaner is back in his place. So if they can get into a little bit better transition game, they'll put a run together here in the second half.
In and out with the shot, no good, and Shaner able to pick up the ball on the backside, his 4th rebound. Phil McKnight brings it up for the Gales. Goes cross court to Beatty. Beatty in trouble, has to dish it outside quickly to McKnight. There's Chappelle, hit the floor hard, but Gales don't take advantage of the mismatch inside. Do we get the shot to go? Lovell McKee will say yes as the foul goes. And Laver is able to get his shot to go, and for Josh, that is 7 points.
Nice. Or no, Jason Waters called for the foul.
That's his 3rd. Laver can't get the shot to go, and meaning Waters, able to get the rebound. 30-19. That's the largest lead for the Gales at 11 points. Smith down to Chappelle, and he lays it up over the top, and it's good. And that's his first bucket. He's a freshman, but still a good ball player, and kind of unusual that someone his size hasn't scored more often in this ball game.
That's their best look inside I remember in the game. They haven't had many easy chances at the bucket.
Phil McKnight has the ball knocked away, dishes it over to Chad, and he puts it up and in.
That's a nice assist there. That's a really good pass. West gambling a little bit and losing.
Josh Laver is called for the block. If he wouldn't have put up his arms, I think he would have gotten the offensive charge call, but for Josh's 2nd foul.
John Johnson back in the West lineup as he replaces Jason Waters.
Smith will take the 3. It's in and out, no good, and Chad McKnight grabs the rebound for the Gales.
6 of them.
He gets it to his brother, who picked up his dribble, isn't in trouble now, but is able to get it to Josh Laver, who gets it across the timeline, then goes cross court to Chad McKnight, and boy, a scary pass, but the Gales able to retain possession. Phil McKnight is fouled as he goes up for the shot.
Boy, how many breaks did Lancaster get on that possession? First, Phil McKnight picked up his dribble in the backcourt, major no-no, but they were able to get it across before the 10-second violation. Then they throw a risky pass. Nigel Mills wasn't looking, had his back turned, and able to pick up the ball in the front court, then driving in the paint and get the foul call. Ooh, Lancaster's living right here in this game this evening.
Chappelle picks up his 3rd foul. Phil McKnight's first shot is no good. That's his first miss of the night. 6 points for Phil. Second shot is again no good. And Jimmy Shaner almost jumped in there and got that rebound. 32-21, 11-point lead for the Gales. This is John Johnson with the basketball. Kind of dribbles on the baseline, and they say it's off of the Cowboys. And
yeah, that's good low post defense. I mean, Chad McKnight adjusts. They tried the little pick move, and he slides down the baseline just the way he's supposed to. John Johnson bumps into him, incidental contact, and he just ran out of bounds.
You saw the West Cowboy fans there for a while, and believe me, they're not happy over here, folks. And they're not happy again. Laver, let's see, we're going to get a 3-second violation against the Golden Gales.
I suppose that's what that was. I haven't seen it called that way before, but looked like he was putting 3 fingers out.
Here's the stop and a pop, up no good by Mills. And Chappelle going after the rebound, and it goes off of the Cowboys. Chappelle couldn't hold on to it. And there are the Gales fans. Gales lead at 32-21, just over 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Chad McKnight just standing down in the corner. Feeds it inside to his brother Phil. Phil off the glass, it's good.
Well, they just have a little 2-man game going, and West can't stop them. They can't do anything about Lancaster's post offense.
Here's a feed down inside to Chappelle. It's no good. Rebound batted around, picked up by Josh Laver. Laver on the run for the Gales. Dishes down to Beatty. Beatty with the shot, it's good. 7 points for Beatty. And Coach Bob Guthrie wants a timeout for the Cowboys. It's a full one, so we'll take one ourselves. 4:18 to play in the third, 36-21 Gales.
The Community Bank is now open and ready to welcome you to Lancaster's newest bank.
Stop in, see some old friends, and meet some new ones. All of us at the Community Bank are anxious to introduce you to our financial services. We offer a wide range of money-saving products, personal service, and some of the best loan and deposit rates in town.
Our main office is located in downtown Lancaster, or stop by our East Main Street office for added convenience.
Just what Lancaster needs, another bank.
The Community Bank. Come grow with us.
Let's take a moment to find out why Tiberio's Ristorante is Lancaster's favorite downtown stop. Tiberio's Ristorante in the heart of downtown Lancaster.
Back here in Columbus, Sandy Rice, Tom Starr, the IVP Sports Crew, as the Golden Gales have pulled out to a 15-point lead, 36-21 over the Cowboys of Columbus West.
The last couple of minutes, Lancaster has really dominated both ends of the floor.
How about a nice move right there by John Johnson? He gets his first bucket, 3 points for John Johnson.
They seem to do okay coming out of timeouts, but boy, just after that, they lose it.
Shaner, how about that for a move? With the left hand? Well, it helps when you are left-handed, but still, he kind of, now we're going to see a little run and gun now as that shot no good. Laver picks it up, gets it to Beatty. Beatty on the drive, and he gets it to go.
This has turned into a clinic. Lancaster in transition has been flawless, and defensively, West is just overmatched.
We might start seeing those three-pointers flying up from the Cowboy air. We see one now. It's no good, and Phil McKnight grabs the rebound, and the Gales have got to move. Beatty, a nice lob down from Phil, but nice defense that time by the Cowboys. Now we get a run, and that one is good. That goes to Johnson, and he has picked up 2 quick buckets. 40-25.
Well, they can play the game in transition, and you can afford to go up and down the floor with them a little bit. You know, you don't have to play a complete slowdown game, but that's the style West would like to get into, and they will try to force it into that in the latter moments of this third quarter and into the fourth, no doubt.
Oh, Chad with an errant pass and then a foul outside by...
Good foul.
Yep. Beatty saw that it was going to be a breakaway and picks up his first foul.
Now let's see, Waters back in the lineup, and number 24, Earl Struther, in for the first time. Lancaster calls a 22nd time.
Well, the Gales want to talk about this. They have the 15-point lead, 40-25. But I would think that Jack wants to remind them, hey, we didn't come up here to run with these guys. We want to try and stick in our same game plan, our same offense that we've been running, same defense. Matter of fact, you might see the Gales, now that they've built a little bit of a lead, go ahead and try and do something maybe not a little different, but change it up just a little bit to get ready for what they believe to be a ball game down the road.
Well, I think one of the things you talk about is making sure you continue to rebound well, particularly on three-pointers. The West starts taking a lot of those. You get long rebounds and weird caroms off the rim and off the backboard, so you got to be ready to block out well.
Up and good by John. He has hit 3 straight buckets for the Cowboys, and it's 40-27.
Here comes the pressure.
Josh Laver crosses the timeline to Beatty. Now the Gales set up their offense. 2:05 to play in the third quarter. Has to bank it back in, got his own rebound, put it up and in. 13 points for Chad McKnight. Here's Javon Johnson stopping and popping from the elbow. It's no good, and Chad McKnight with the rebound.
8 rebounds now for Chad. Big game. Might get a good possession here.
Chad at the foul line doesn't want to take it. Then it's stolen by John Johnson, and then Laver picks up the foul. And for Josh, not a very well-advised foul because that's his third. With a minute 26 left to play here in the third quarter.
The pass was a bit telegraphed, and Chad McKnight had the open jump shot from the free throw line, and Lancaster almost is overemphasizing trying to punch the ball down and low. Get that open jumper at the foul line, you can take that. Right? Right, Merwin?
Mr. Bowdish with a pop, and let's see, all he's got there in his hands cost about $14.
Each item.
John Johnson, who's been the offense for Columbus West here in the second half, loses the basketball, but it's picked back up by Struthers. Johnson again now for a 3. How about this kid? He's got 9 points in the quarter. And he's scored the last 4 buckets for the Cowboys.
They've cut the lead down to 8. I tell you, you can't count this team out. They're too good, and they will rally.
Well, I just want Tom to do his math again. We don't want him to get too excited.
12
12
points,
all right,
sorry.
That's all right.
Foul is on Johnson.
It's 42-30. I know what you were doing there. I'm still with you on that.
Thank you, though. I'm just a little dyslexic on the scoreboard there.
Well, I don't want anybody at home to panic.
I understand. You're right.
That was Jovan Johnson's third foul. Phil McKnight with the spin.
Oh, that's nice.
And he's able to draw the foul as he can't get the shot to go, but he'll be going to the line to shoot 2.
Good fake.
Struther picks up his first.
Now the Gales are going to have to make their free throws, and they're 0 for 3 here in the third quarter from the line. So time to buckle down, and that's a good low angle shot from Bob Capetti on the floor. He's not literally on the floor. He almost is, but look at Phil McKnight.
First shot is up, and it's good. Phil is now 3 of 5 from the line here tonight. Did you get a good look at Phil?
He's a 69% free throw shooter during the season.
He cans both of them. And the Gales push it back out to 14.
I want to thank Dave Rainford for giving us the complete stat sheet for the Gales tonight. He works hard on that.
Shot no good, but Javon Johnson able to get the rebound, and he banks it back up. He's got 6 points. Clock down to 35 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Justin Riggins in the ball game has the basketball for the Gales. Down to 22 seconds. Phil McKnight spinning to the hoop, loses the basketball, picked up by the Cowboys. Javon Johnson, and he almost lost the dribbles. Kyle Greathouse almost stole that with 10 seconds. The Cowboys set it up, 7 seconds. They can't see it from that side. They're looking up, they can't see the scoreboard. Now they dish it over to Waters, he loses it. Justin Riggins, and that is the end of the third quarter of play as the Gales defense score. 44-32 is the score as we head to the fourth quarter. Gales on top.
Satisfied customers have been relying on Heston's Auto Service and used cars since 1943. Come on by and meet Jim and Shirley Heston and find the highest quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and vans.
And don't forget the other side of Heston's, quality auto care. During these winter months, allow Heston's to keep your car on the road. That's Heston's Auto Service and Used Cars, 603 Lincoln Avenue, Lancaster. Steve Messerly and Advest will help you achieve your financial goals. Steve's philosophy is simple. Care about your clients, work with them honestly and with integrity, and deliver a high level of service. As a former assistant treasurer of investments for the Ohio State University, Steve will put his investment knowledge to work for you. He can help you save money for retirement, fund your children's education, or decrease your tax liability. Let Steve Messerly be your investment manager. Call him today at 653-5757.
How about that? That's a nice little picture you got going there as the Golden Gales lead as we head into the fourth quarter, 44-32. Andy Rice, Tom Starr, the IVP Sports crew, and our good friends from Adelphia Cablevision out of Newark getting ready as the Wildcats will be playing a little bit later on this evening. That might be a foe for the Gales down the road somewhere, but right now, the Gales have the Cowboys to contend with, the Columbus West. Javon Johnson with a shot, it's no good, but he is fouled by Phil McKnight. For Phil, that is going to be his first foul.
5 team fouls on the Gales and 4 on West, so both teams still short of the bonus. But this is a 2-shot situation for Johnson, and he makes the first.
A second ago, you saw the coaching staff from Westerville North as they will be the ball game just after this, I believe. Second shot is no good, however, and it's Phil McKnight on the rebound for the Gales. An 11-point lead for the Gales, 44-33. Labor out front. Dishes over to Chad McKnight, and Alvis almost lost it. Now has the ball tipped away, and then a jump ball is called, and it's going to go to the Golden Gales. So good defense down low by the Cowboys, and especially by Nigel Mills.
Lancaster still wants to be aggressive at the offensive end. Way too much time left in this game, over 7 minutes, and they don't want to hold that ball too long trying to nurse this 11-point lead. Keep looking to what's been successful, high percentage shots down in the low post.
Phil McKnight lost it for a moment, but then is able to put it up, and it's good for Phil. He has turned it on a little bit here in the second half. He has 12 points. Johnson, and meaning John, who almost single-handedly kept West in that, and with the third quarter's outburst of 9 points. Now here's a stop and pop by Mills. It's no good. Ball batted around, and it's picked up by Chad McKnight of the Gales, and the Lancaster offense will set it up as Phil McKnight crosses the timeline with the basketball. Feed it down inside to Chad. He can't get the shot to go, and the rebound is brought down by John Johnson, and he leaves the ball on the floor. Phil McKnight gets it to his brother, and now the Gales will take the ball right back. They get a little sloppy out there now, Tom.
8 turnovers each way. Coming up on the 6-minute mark remaining.
Beatty off the glass, it's good. 11 points for Brad Beatty, and he's done that very quietly tonight. And a timeout called by Coach Guthrie, and it's a full one. We'll take it ourselves. 5:55 to play, 48-33 Gales.
Each year, Americans generate over 700 million gallons of waste motor oils, and almost half of this oil is improperly disposed. Hi, I'm County Commissioner Alan Reed. The improper disposal of used oil hurts us two ways: by harming our drinking water supply and by wasting a valuable, non-renewable energy source. If you are a do-it-yourselfer, take your waste oil to an oil recycling station in your area. With your help, we can all keep Ohio and Fairfield County clean and safe.
Back at the Ohio State Fairgrounds, the Exposition Center, Andy Rice, Tom Starr, as the Golden Gales lead 48-33. They dish it back over to Javon Johnson. That real close to a walk. Even a West crowd was a little surprised that nothing was called there.
I think so.
Jason Waters has been in foul trouble, and a nice job that time by Matt Alvis. Knocked the ball away. They got tied up. It stays with the Cowboys.
You know, I'm a little surprised, and Lancaster has this 15-point cushion, so obviously, well, those guys are happy about that, and they're happy with the combinations of players on the floor, but Lancaster's not used a lot of rotation tonight. I'm a little surprised about that. 3-point goal by Javon Johnson.
He has got 10 points now in the ball game. And now we're going to see some full court trapping, and then a foul is called. I think it's going to go against TJ Smith, and it'll be his second. Josh Labor was in a lot of trouble there. Some very sedate Lancaster fans at this point. Their Gales have a nice lead at this juncture. And then it's thrown away as Phil McKnight tried to toss it over to Labor, and Labor ran right by it. And combination of a bad pass and a miscommunication is the 9th turnover for the Gales.
You still don't feel very comfortable, do you? You know, it's a 12-point lead with 5:15 left on the clock.
Well, West, all 5 of their guys are behind the 3-point arc right now. Here's Smith with a shot. It's good. He's got 7 points. That's his first bucket in the second half.
It's 2 straight threes now that they have made with the pressure. Easy to make a rally.
Matt Alvis has the ball knocked away, and then Alvis has to throw it. That ball almost tipped away. Picked up by Chad McKnight right under the bucket, and he puts it in.
Got a break there, did Lancaster.
15 points for Chad McKnight. The Gales lead it by 11. Smith will stop it and pop it again. And let's see, we're going to get a foul called against Teran Wembley. That's his third. One more foul, and we're going to have, here's a good sign for you, no food or drinks. And then a can of pop. All right, well, there you go. Of course, we can't have everything. Somebody has to buck the trend, I guess.
They rule and regulate you to death up here, so you know, what's a little rule breaking among friends?
I thought you were going to go into a tirade here earlier.
My goodness, you have to pay to park and you have to pay for the program. I mean, it costs you a veritable fortune to get anything done here, and we're working, for heaven's sakes.
That's right, we're paying for the privilege to do this as we get a foul on the floor, and I believe that will send the Gales to the line for 1-1, and it will. So Phil McKnight will go to the line. He'll be shooting 1-1.
Foul was on Wembley.
And that's his 4th. So he picks up 2 quick fouls. Chappelle will check back in as well as John Johnson.
Yeah, I think they need to have John Johnson in the game because he's been instant offense for him here in the second half. Well, if Lancaster can make some free throws here down the stretch, they'll get this win. They're going to have to earn it from the line because they're going to shoot some free throws from here on out.
First shot is good.
And this could get a little wild and crazy as we go down the stretch because we mentioned West's going to take some threes, and he's tend to get weird rebounds and all that stuff off of three-point tries. A lot of things can happen yet.
Those shots good by Phil McKnight. He has 14 points, so the McKnight brothers with 29 points between them. Here is a shot by Jovan Johnson from 3 again. It's good.
They have made their last 4 three-point attempts, 3 of them here in this quarter.
Laver gets it to Beatty, to Phil McKnight. Phil will take it himself, dish it over to Alvis. It's good.
4th assist for Phil McKnight. And I like Lancaster still being aggressive. Not trying to milk the clock yet. There's still 3.5 minutes remaining. They need to continue it. Another 3 by Johnson.
He's hit 3 in a row. He's got 10 points in the quarter and 16 overall. Beatty with the ball down to Chad McKnight. They'll let him go inside. He is fouled as he goes up for the shot. So we'll have Chad going to the line to shoot 2.
First time in a long time this lead's been in single digits, and after that 3 by Jovan Johnson a moment ago, they cut it down to 9. I am right this time.
Yes.
And that gives you a little bit of an uneasy feeling again. So Lancaster knows with this 3-point barrage West has put on that this isn't over, but they're doing a good job right now hitting their free throws.
Chappelle picked up the foul. That's his 4th. So right now they're looking at Chappelle and Wembley both with 4 fouls, and Waters and Jovan Johnson both with 3. Three minutes, 13 seconds left to play in the ball game. Both shots are good, and Chad and his brother Phil are doing some scoring out here. Nope, no shot. They say the ball was out on the floor when the foul occurred.
There's no continuation in this league. So that's foul well before the shot. Josh Laver, I think, got it.
That's his 4th foul, and Josh has been the only person other than Matt Alvis who has 3 in foul trouble here for the Gales tonight. And quickly, Jimmy Shaner up off the bench for the Gales, and Laver will sit down.
Next foul against the Gales will put West in the 1-1.
Jovan Johnson will drive inside, and he is fouled, so we are going to get that 1-1.
Chad McKnight, or rather Phil McKnight gets the foul.
That's his 2nd. Jack a little leery at this point. Game's still not out of reach yet. 56-45. With 3:02 to play in the ball game. Johnson's shot is no good, and the rebound is picked up by Phil McKnight.
7 boards for Phil. He should back up and shoot that free throw from behind the arc. Johnson should.
Wilt Chamberlain style.
I mean, they shoot it a lot better from way downtown.
Chad McKnight had the shot, didn't take it. The Gales now starting to spread it out a little bit. Dishing it down to Alvis. His shot is up, and it's good. That's 4 1/4 for Alvis, 5 overall.
Gales shooting lights out here in the second half. It's uncanny.
John Johnson with the rebound, and then he is fouled by Beatty. And for Brad, his 2nd foul, and now all of a sudden it's become a free throw shooting contest, as you warned us, Tom.
Yes, I did warn. The Gales are 11 of 15 from the floor here in the second half.
I would think that that's pretty good.
Johnson He was leaning into the lane and didn't cross the line before the free throw went in. Yeah, you know, everyone says, man, it's tough to shoot at the Coliseum. There's no depth perception, all this stuff. And shooting's mental.
Oh, and then Chad McKnight lost the rebound, and it's picked back up and put in by Waters.
That's a three-point play the unconventional way, and the lead is back to 10. Lancaster's got timeouts to use, and now they will use one. Good decision by Phil McKnight.
And both he and Coach Greathouse called that 20-second timeout, so we'll take one ours. Oh, we'll keep it right here for that. 2:05 to play in the ball game as the Gales lead this one by 10, 58-48. Tom, is this the time now that you think about starting to spread it out a little bit? You've been hitting your foul shots.
Last possession they did, Andy. They did, and what they can do, even when they spread the floor and go into that four-corner look almost, is cut to the basket hard. You still go hard to the basket and cut and try to get backdoor plays. And Lancaster, if they get those, will shoot it. Otherwise, they're going to make West foul them. And what a shot. They could care less about what's going on the floor. Don't you love that? They're busy playing. There's a game going on here.
Well, we had evidently a jersey change here as Javon Johnson had to change his jersey. I don't know if he
maybe a little blood on it.
Blood, or it was ripped or something, but the officials made him change.
So he's now wearing number 12.
Yes. That ball's tipped away by Smith, and he picks it up. So the Cowboys get the basketball, trailing by 10. A three-point shot is good by John Johnson. Where was he in the first half for the Cowboys?
It isn't over, Andy, and West is starting to get some momentum.
And then a timeout is called by the Golden Gales. With 1:36 left to play, they are going to take a full timeout, so we'll take one ourselves. 58-51, Gales on top.
Brian Fox is the best choice for state representative. Brian's platform is straightforward. Educate our kids, get tough on crime, and lower taxes.
As your state representative, I will never vote to raise your taxes.
Brian Fox is qualified to serve and is the only candidate with actual local government experience. Brian Fox is recommended by the Fairfield County Republican Party and endorsed by many civic and government leaders. Brian Fox is the best choice for state representative.
The community bank, come grow with us. You'll be hearing that phrase often in the months to come. As Lancaster's newest bank, we have the unique opportunity to blend the local banking experience of people you know with custom designed products and some of the best loan and deposit rates in town.
Stop in today and see why Lancaster needs another bank. But not just any bank, the community bank. Come grow with us. Our main office is in downtown Lancaster, or visit our East Main Street office.
51 with 1:36 left to play in the ball game. And I think that's West's strategy right now, Tom.
Well, they still have one foul to give before they get in the double bonus, so this is still going to be 1-1. Yeah, if they don't get the steal, as they did the last time the Gales had the ball, they have the foul.
Matt Albus will check in for Josh Laver should he make this.
Now, this is the guy you want at the foul line. Your Lancaster 87% free throw shooter on the year. Josh 60 of 69 coming into the game, so you can't have a better guy in the world at the foul line if you're Lancaster.
However, he had missed his first one here tonight, so he's able to can both of those. Josh will sit down. Matt Alvis in for defensive purposes.
Defense for offense. Next time Lancaster gets a chance, they sub back in because they want the superior free throw shooter in there.
Clock's at 1.5 minutes to play.
West 5 of 5 here in the fourth quarter from three-point range. Big steal nearly by Beatty, but West saves it.
Here's a throw out as Johnson takes a deep three, and that breaks the string as Chad McKnight grabs the rebound for the Gales. And then Phil gets fouled by John Johnson.
11 rebounds now for Chad McKnight, so he's got a double-double, right?
Yes, although Javon Johnson, well, they said it was Chris Haynes, but that's not him. That's Javon Johnson. Phil McKnight puts the first one in. I don't know if you saw that, Tom, but
I did.
Jack quickly got up off the bench and walked down towards the scores table and said, wait a minute, that was number 5. And they said, yeah, they got that. So
did he leave the floor then? Or he's not? He is now. Yeah, he is now. Okay. No harm, no foul, because there was no action during the free throw. But
I only had him as for 3 fouls, so that would have been his 4th foul. But I think Jack was saying, wait a minute, he was number 5. Don't give Chris Haynes, the kid who they said committed the foul, who originally on the score sheet was number 12, don't give him the foul because it should go against Johnson.
Well, I think it is only 4 fouls, but Jack said he was number 5, right? Not 5 fouls. He was number 5 before, right? And now that's where the confusion came in. Well, now maybe he does have 5. I don't know. Coaches are talking about it because Javon started to come off the floor, then went back on because they said it's only 4. So he's all right.
Yep, they just got everything straightened away.
They iced Phil McKnight well here at the foul line, though, didn't they?
Well, he looks pretty good right there. I think he'll be all right. Phil tries to push it out to a double-digit lead, and he does. Here's Smith with the drive to John Johnson for 3, no good. And Chad McKnight grabs the rebound for the Gales. To his brother Phil, now to Beatty. Beatty on the run. Gets the ball knocked away, and it's picked up by John Johnson. It's a 3-on-1, and then a foul by Phil McKnight. Not a very smart move as Johnson goes for the layup, gets the bucket, and then is fouled with 54 seconds to play.
Yeah, you want to give him the basket there. That's a small deal, but not a chance to score 3. Now Josh Laver is coming back in for Beatty. So they'd like to have Laver handle the basketball coming up. And Johnson will get a chance to finish off the 3-point play, and does.
Johnson's just got a whole bunch of points. As you see Brad Beatty get a rest, and Phil McKnight is fouled. And to this point, we've seen the Cowboys do exactly what we thought they'd do, and that is foul as soon as that basketball gets inbounded. And Brad Beatty will come right back in for the Gales as soon as Phil McKnight gets one of these shots to go up.
Gales are 8 of 8 here in the 4th quarter from the line.
Phil has 16 points in the ball game, and the first shot is no good.
I knew it.
See?
I knew you'd blame me, so I. Beatty back on the floor, and Laver sits down.
I was going to say that he had made his last 6 free throw attempts, but I refrained from doing it.
You don't really believe in that junk, do you?
No. I'm a baseball coach. There's no superstition in baseball, so why would there be here? 50 seconds to play. The Gales up 63-54. That shot no good. And a rebound put back up by Waters, and it's good. And then a timeout called by the Cowboys. And let's see if that is a full or a 20. It's a 20-second timeout, I think, or is it a full?
He didn't say.
He hasn't said, so we'll take a 30-second timeout. That way we'll get one ourselves. 63-56, Gales on top.
This is Dan Robinson inviting you to join me Monday through Friday, Channel 22 for Town and Country, 12:30 and 6:30. Mondays here at Riverview. Tuesdays at Community Bank. Wednesdays here at the Fairfield County District Library. Thursdays at Value City. And here on Fridays, it goes to Trails Day on Wheeling in Lancaster. Wrapping up the week once again on Town and Country, Channel 22, Interface Video Productions.
The Golden Gales lead 63-56. There's 42 seconds left to play. The West Cowboys, Tom, to their credit, have not given up here tonight.
No, they have not. We knew that. You know, we mentioned that they won the City League Championship, and they've had a great program going for the last 3 years running, 3-time league champs.
A good job on that inbounds play, which is perfectly legal. They threw it in or out of bounds, actually, to Beatty, and then Laver got the pass right back from him. And Laver will go to the line. He'll be shooting 2.
And those 3 City League championships are all post Michael Redd.
He's not a bad basketball player himself.
You wouldn't think, you know, that would have happened after he left, but.
In and out on Laver's shot. This is still a 3-possession ball game for West. They would have to get the ball 3 times. Second shot is good by Laver. 10 points in the ball game for Laver as Alvis comes back in for Josh.
Lancaster wants to defend the 3, but defend it carefully. Don't foul on a 3-point shot, because then it could really be disaster.
Here's John Johnson, and that's from downtown Columbus right there, and that shot no good. And a rebound by Jovan Johnson. His shot from 3 is no good, and Chad McKnight tries to get the rebound and is fouled as he does so. Jimmy Shaner went crashing to the floor. Go ahead, Tom.
After West had hit 5 consecutive threes here in the fourth quarter, they've now missed their last 5. Of course, they've been desperation. But the 3-point sword will stick you if you play with it long enough.
That last foul against John Johnson. First shot by Chad McKnight is good.
That was Lancaster's 30th free throw. And they've made 22.
The second shot is good.
Correction, they made 20. Now they've made 22 out of 31.
19 points for Chad McKnight. John Johnson's shot is no good. They're going to say off of Smith, out of bounds. The Gales will get it with a 10-point lead and 16 seconds left to play. Alvis will check back out. Josh Laver back in. The Gales will advance on and play Tuesday night. They get the basketball in, and then a foul quickly with 14 seconds. Phil McKnight will go to the line as Tom quickly checks the brackets for us.
It'll be Delaware because they beat Darby last night. So Gales have beaten Delaware 2 of the last 3 years up here. Both times they played. You think that the Pacers just might like another chance at the Gales?
Oh, I'm sure they will. First shot by Phil is good.
And they're going to get it.
Well, we're going to have to, between Tom and myself, figure out who's going to be our Tiki Bowling Lanes player of the ball game. And you got both of those McKnight boys out there. They've had excellent ball games. This is 2 straight games in a row for Chad that he has come out and played exceptional basketball. Second shot is good by Phil. TJ Smith with the drive. He'll get the complimentary bucket. And that should be the last one.
No, they don't count it.
They don't count it, but it still looked good
Still
anyway.
looked good.
Yeah. Chad McKnight with the dunk, but after the buzzer, and that's the final. The Gales 68, the Cowboys of West 58. We'll be back with a wrap-up of our ball game and our Tiki Bowling Lanes player of the ball game right after we take this timeout.
Satisfied customers have been relying on Heston's Auto Service and used cars since 1943. Come on by and meet Jim and Shirley Heston and find the highest quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and vans.
And don't forget the other side of Heston's, quality auto care. During these winter months, allow Heston's to keep your car on the road. That's Heston's Auto Service and Used Cars, 603 Lincoln Avenue, Lancaster. Steve Messerly and Advest will help you achieve your financial goals. Steve's philosophy is simple. Care about your clients, work with them honestly and with integrity, and deliver a high level of service. As a former assistant treasurer of investments for The Ohio State University, Steve will put his investment knowledge to work for you. He can help you save money for retirement, fund your children's education, or decrease your tax liability. Let Steve Messerly be your investment manager. Call him today at 653-5757.
I think I want to, but I haven't in a long time.
Remember how fun it is? You'll be great.
Wow, Jason, look at the moon.
Amy, I think it's getting bigger. No, the moon, Ames.
It's the sun.
Yeah!
Let's do it.
Play big. It just may change your life.
Go Bowl Zerk at Tiki Lanes. Look what's available for all you can bowl specials. Tiki Lanes in Lancaster. Go Bowl Zerk.
Lancaster Golden Gales victorious in the first round Division I basketball playoff game as they beat the Columbus West Cowboys by the score of 68-58. The final scoring summary goes like this. Chad and Phil McKnight, 19 points apiece for the brothers, 11 points for Brad Beatty, 10 for Josh Laver, 5 for Matt Alvis, and 4 for Jimmy Shaner. 17 for John Johnson was West's leading scorer, and 16 of that came in the second half of play. 16 points for Javon Johnson as the Cowboys made a valiant effort of it, Tom, in the second half, but were really unable to get back any closer to the Gales.
Well, they made a lot of threes there in the fourth quarter, and in fact hit 5 in a row at one point, but they weren't able to ever seriously challenge Lancaster. They did cut the lead at one time, down to 6 points. I think it may have been 6 or 7, but not really threatening Lancaster in the second half of this game, and the Gales win it by 10. Lancaster shoots a torrid 60% from the floor. They were 21 of 35. West 22 of 52 shooting for the game. They were 8 of 20 from three-point range were the Cowboys overall. The Gales shot well from the foul line as well. 25 of 33 free throws. That's 76%. West only 12 trips to the line. They made 6 of those. Rebounds, Lancaster dominant here, 33-18 on the boards. Chad McKnight led everybody with 13 rebounds. The Gales had 13 assists. Phil McKnight was the leader there with 5. Brad Beatty had 4. And turnovers pretty tight, 12 for the Gales, 8 committed by the Cowboys.
Well, Tom, even though Chad had the double-double tonight, I think that you would agree with me that Phil definitely showed the senior leadership ability, and thus we'll name him our Tiki Bowling Lanes player of the ball game because he did an excellent job here tonight, and especially down the stretch with those free throws.
Shot the free throws very well. I've seen a lot of double-doubles this year at the college level. Sean Stonerook at Ohio University, who is one of the leaders in the nation in that category, and you kind of feel sometimes it gets a little almost you expect it, and it's a stat that should never really be overlooked, but sometimes you got to look beyond the statistics. And you're right, Phil McKnight was really a leader out here, hit the free throws, brought the ball up and down the floor very well tonight, only a couple of turnovers, and early in the game helped establish that inside-outside game, the two-man game he had going with his brother Chad. So we'll tip our cap to Phil McKnight and all the Gales for winning the first game in the new season. They now go to 15-6 overall.
That's right, and of course, as we said, they'll be playing Tuesday night against Delaware right here at the Ohio State Exposition Center. However, should Fisher Catholic beat Village Academy, which unless there's a hurricane that rolls through Mount Vernon tonight, that should be an almost cinch for the Fighting Irish, and we will have their second round ball game, which will be against most likely Cardington next Tuesday night right here on Channel 22. And then obviously should the Gales get past Delaware, you're looking at a big game possibly against Grove City next Saturday night, and we would have that game right here on Channel 22 for you. So the schedule pans out pretty well for our tournament basketball action, and we hope that everyone will tune into Channel 22 over the next week and catch some ball games. Once again, the final score here tonight, the Golden Gales 68 and the West Cowboys 58. For my partner Tom Starr and our entire IVP Sports crew, I'm Andy Rice. Thanks for watching.